welcome to another video. And in this video we're going to be looking at the 2024 technical drawing mechanical drawing examination that was held in May-June of 2024. Now here on my screen you can see our past paper. All right, please note that the drawing file will be linked in the description as well, where you'll find the question as well as my attempt at this paper. All right, so if you have not already subscribed, please do share with a friend. Ensure that you click the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post these past paper questions, so you can have a better understanding of how to tackle exam questions like this. Alright, so as you can see here, it says that this paper consists of 2 questions. It is divided into 2 sections. Section 1, assembly drawing. Section 2, sketch and design. Answer both questions. Candidates may use either traditional method. We're going to be using computer-aided drafting in the form of AutoCAD. As you can see here, section 1, assembly drawing. It says that you should not spend more than 2 hours on this, so we're going to be trying to complete this section here, hopefully within an hour, if the drawing is not too complicated. Alright, now it says that figure 1 on the enclosed sheet shows the first angle orthographic projection detail of the parts that make up a table clamp assembly, which holds workpiece in place for drilling holes or inserting other detail. Other parts include where it says in the assembly, the part which is basically the arm, which is labeled number 2, is aligned to the body. The workpiece, which is labeled number 4, is placed within the space between the arm of the body, number 1, and the M10 bolt, number 5, is passed through the hole on the body, which is number 1, and through the arm, which is number 2. And this is secured in place by the M10 lock nut, which is labeled number 6, and the handle, which is labeled number 3, is situated through the M8 bolt, number 5, which is tightened to the body in number 1, and the arm, which is labeled number 2, keeping the workpiece in place. Now this is what you're required to do. As it says in A, draw a full size either in first angle or third angle orthographic projection the following views in the assembly: a full sectional front elevation on cutting plane XX for 41 marks, and a end elevation show all in detail, alright, which for another 35 marks. You are also going to be showing show a parts list, alright, and 6 main dimensions to include a length, a diameter, a radius, and a metric screw thread specification. At the end, please print the title, clamp assembly, table clamp assembly that is, and the scale used to draw it. Alright, show the projection method used by the symbol for another 3 marks. The total marks is 90, and it says that all fillets radii are 3 millimeters. Alright, so let's get into things. As you can see, we have our part sheet here, and as we said earlier, we're going to be doing a we're doing a full sectional front elevation on cutting plane XX and the end view. Alright, so as you can see here from the body, so we're going to be drawing both of these here. So this over here to my right is the end view, alright, and this here is the section or the part that we're going to be using to do our section. Alright, so let's get things going. Now here my drawing environment has already been set up. The drawing template will also be linked in the description down below. So we're now at minute 5 and we're about to kick things off. So by the time it gets to an hour, we should be done and dusted. Let's go. All right, so let's get things going. Let's start things off by drawing our body. All right, here I'm going to start with the end view. All right, now looking at the object, we're trying to minimize the amount of work that we do, so we're trying to identify large measurements here. So as you can see, it says that from the base to this base here is 90. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to draw a random line. So length, all right, and I'm going to offset this line by the 90, and it's just to act as my template. All right, from there I'm going to offset another 10. As you can see, I'm just following the measurements. All right, and then now from there I'm going to be looking at other portions, such as, so from here to up here, I do not know what that measurement is, but we can decipher that from the front view here. As you can see, the base portion here at the bottom of where the 10 starts, from there to the hole is actually 25, and from that hole to the center of the circle, or the circular portion here, is another 35. So if I add those two, I'll know that from here to up here is going to be 30, 40, 50, is that 60? 60, all right? So that will be 60, and then from that 60, well, not from there 60, from here to here 60, then we have this additional radius here, which is 30. So if we add 30 to 60, we're going to end up with 70, 80, 90. So from down here to up here is 90. All right, so it means that from this baseline here, which is the same as this part here, I'm going to offset up 90. So I'm going offset and then 90. All right, and these are just templates that I'm creating. All right, so we know that now. So what are we going to do? I'm just going to draw a line right down the center here. All right, let me turn on OSnap here. Apologies for the recording symbol here. It's just for me to manage my time. All right, now with that now in place, what am I going to do? I'm going to be offsetting on either side to get the width based on what is going on here. And this is just my method. All right, so it says that the width of it here is actually 60. So I'm going to offset on either side 60. So O, enter, 60, enter, click. No, it will be 30 on either side. O, enter, 30, enter, and then we click on both sides. All right, and that will give us down here, which is here, and then for up here, all we're going to be doing is offsetting down 10. So let's do that. Offset 10. All right, that's not so bad. So O, enter, just about. All right, cool. So here we go. It's just a matter of cleaning up now. So if we go TR for trim and then press enter, we can easily clean away here and here. All right, and then that will give us inside this space here. All right, now we need to tackle down this portion here. Now what is down here looking like? Now there is should be some form of base plate along here. How much is that? Let's look at it. It says that it is actually 15 millimeter. So let's add that. So we're going to offset up 15 millimeter. All right, and then now from there we know that the width, and we're going to find the width of it here, because I'm assuming that this entire thing here is it's probably a circle. Yeah, it's a circular base, and it's the reason why you're seeing that it says 120 diameter. So it means that from here to here is also 120. So if the width of it is 120, all I need to do is offset 60 on either side of this line here. All right, and then now I can easily trim and fillet the corners. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off by trimming the base, filleting the base rather. So I'll activate my fillet command, fillet this to here, and then I'll fillet this to here. Now it says that the curves and the radii on these here are actually 3. So when I activate my fillet command, what am I going to do? I'm going to change the radius to 3. So I click on radius, then I enter 3. Then I go enter. Now I can easily fillet these corners with a radius of 3. Alright. Now that is that done and dusted. Alright. So there are other parts that need to be done as well, but the part that I'm going to focus on now is that little circle hole right here. So I'm going to be sorting out that. So where is that hole located? Now remember this measurement here, from the base up 25, that's the center of the hole. So we need to find that. Alright. So from here up, which is the 25, if you can see. No, yes, the 25. I'm going to offset that line up by the 25. Alright, so I know that the center is going to be between those 2 points. Alright, because remember I had already found the center of the object with that line that I've been offsetting on either side. So let's add that circle there. Now what is the radius of that circle, or the diameter of the circle? It says the diameter is 10. So it means that the radius is 5. So let's activate our circle command by pressing C and press enter. Find the center here, click, and then enter 5 as our radius. Alright, there you go. We have that out of the way. What else is missing for us? We need to add the holes that are right here. Alright, for the end view. Alright, that's these right here. Alright, now where are these located? We have to consult. We have to consult our drawing. Alright, so for example, it says that there are 4 holes and they're all M10 holes. Alright, so it means that they're 10 millimeters in width. Where are they located exactly? We do not know. I'm looking to see if I see any measurement that is actually speaking on that. No, I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. Not seeing anything yet. Alright, but we're continuing with our drawing. Alright, so for example, we're going to be doing some more further work down at the base here. So we're going to be adding those holes. We're going to be adding this section as well. So again, they say that this little hole section here that we're seeing right here is also has a diameter of 80. So what am I going to do? I'm going to offset 80, so it's offset 40 on either side of the line. So O enter 40, and then I'll offset it on either side. And I'm going to be cleaning up and putting things on relevant layers so things aren't as confusing. Now we have the width. So we have from here to here. Now we need to know how far it goes up. As you can see, the arrows are pointing that this section here is actually 5. So let's just offset the line up by 5. So O enter 5, enter, click here, and then move my cursor up and then click. From there, you're just filleting the corners. Remember, the fillet was 3 for the corners. So this and this, as well as this and this. So as you can see, that is pretty much done and dusted, and we can place these on the relevant layer. So these go on your in detail layer. And let me change the line type scale for that. LTS, enter, and I'm changing that to 0.5 so that things look a lot better. Alright, now for the rest of it, like here, I'm going to make this a part of my object layer. Alright, so does it look like what it looks like here? Yes, it does. Alright, so we need to do the rest. We need to find out that whole location. Alright, so what am I going to do? You see that whole location, I'm going to put it exactly in the middle between these 2 parts here, because it's only smart, alright, to put it right in the middle between those 2 points. All right, and remember this hole here is an M10 hole, so the diameter is 10. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to add a little reference line between here and here so I can find the center of between these points, and then I'll draw up a line in the middle like this. This line will also become my center line for here as well. And I'm going to offset it on either side by 5, because if the diameter is 10, it means that the radius is 5. Alright, so this is a center line layer, and these, let me trim away the extra, right here and here are going to become hidden detail lines. Now it's the same exact thing on the other side, so what am I going to do? I am going to be mirroring all of this to the other side. So my mirror line is going to be the center of the object. Because Arthur is turned on, all I need to do is just move my cursor down. Alright, now it's looking like what it should be. Now for the threads, what I'm going to be doing is that I'm simply going to be offsetting 1 on either side, and I'm offsetting it inwards like this. Alright, just like that. Alright, cool. Now let's move on. What else is missing for us? What else is missing? We need to add the curve here. Alright, and I'm assuming that this is also circular. How do we know that it has a circular object like a tube or a can? Because all these measurements that we're seeing here are all diameter. So for example, at the base here it says that it's actually 40. So if I offset 40, I'd offset a 40 somewhere, you know. Don't remember. 40. And that's where the base is going to be. Oh, let me double check. Oh, 40, so we're going to be making it 20 instead, because 20 and 20 is equal to 40. 40 is the diameter. So offset 20. So this line, you see how many functions I'm using this line for? This is my main reference line that I'm using. Alright, cool. So we have that point there. So we know that where it touches here. Oh, and let me get rid of this line here as well, so things are a bit clearer for you. All of this here, I'm going to change this to object, this to object, this. Let's go here as well, at least for now. Alright, so let's start this part here out. Alright, so let's start that part out. Alright, so we know that we're filleting the corners there. Let's check out the other parts. So this here is 42. This here is 42. Alright, so from here to here is 42. 42. Let me double check on this here. Oh, that's not what we're working with. We're working with this 60 here in the middle, up at the top here. Not 60, but 30. Alright, so the 30, so it will mean that we're going to offset 15 on either side up top here. So O, enter 15. Alright, so we have that there and we have that there. Alright, so let's do some cleaning up. Let's do some cleaning up. So what are we going to do? We're going to be filleting here to here. Alright, so let me see if I can do something here. Alright, so I'm going to have to redraw it. So I'm going to fillet using the same radius, so here and here, like that. No, this radius here is 10, I believe. This radius is 10. Let me double check. Yeah, it's 10. So I'm going to change the fillet radius to 10 on this here. Click on radius and enter 10. So this to this. Alright, so I'll have to redraw this part here. Coming across somewhere here. And then I'll just fillet the corners here to here. I could have also trimmed out the middle and avoided all of this here, but the option is totally yours. It's going to be the same treatment here. However, the radius for up in here that is not specified is going to be the 3. Alright, so let's adjust the fillet again, back to 3. Alright, let's go. So the innermost one, so for example, here and here. Alright, let's redraw the other one. Redraw the other line, and then let's fillet that as well. So it's this to the most inner one. Alright, now you see these lines that we had here? Technically, they are no more because they were just guideline for us. So all we're going to be doing is connecting lines from this curve to this curve here, and from this curve to this curve here. Alright, so that's that part there out of the way, and we can place them on the relevant layers. So I'm going to use the match properties command, MA, enter. Oh well, we're at 20 minutes already. Alright, so we're adding those. Alright, so we have it there already. Alright, other parts that are missing is the hole that is in the middle that we should be showing. I'm going to just double check on this here. That there, that there, that there. Okay, cool. So what we're going to be doing now is that we're going to be moving to this view here that we have. Alright, because this is, I believe this is the front sectional elevation that we're going to be doing. So what am I going to be doing? I'm simply going to be projecting lines across from this to where I know where all the different levels are, and this will cut down my work by a lot. Alright, including my little reference line that I'm going to be drawing in the middle here. Now we know that the base, all of the base here is the same exact base. All of this here is the same exact base. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to make my life a lot easier by simply selecting all of this here and copying it to where I want. How do I say this? Where I want it to go, right here. Alright, so let me remove this and then I'll copy. So this has just prevented me from having to redraw everything. And now for the top portion here, we can start drawing that. Now the top portion there, they say that the width of this portion here is actually 42. Alright, so we're going to work with that. So it means that we're offsetting 21 on either side of this line here. So offset 21. So when we go offset and offset, right, we should be able to join things pretty easily. Alright, so let us draw across that line there that we're seeing. Let's use dynamic tracking here. Alright, just like that. Alright, now once that is out of the way, we can now complete the other portion, such as the circular portion and all that stuff. Alright, now the center of the circle here, as we said before, it is 25 plus 35, which worked out to be I think it was 60. Alright, so we need to find that center there. So we're going to be offsetting this line here, I believe it's this one, up by that 60. So O, enter 60, enter, move our cursor, so that's where the circle is going to go. Then we'll draw a circle with this being the center, radius being 30, and things fall where it should. The inner circle is going to be 20. Alright, so you see we have it there already. So all we need to do now is pretty much clean up our drawing by trimming what needs to be trimmed and removing what needs to be removed. So all of this here that we have here, I'm going to put it on our object layer. And you might be wondering why I didn't erase this half here, or this portion here. That's because you see this part down here is going to fit onto here Alright, so it makes no sense removing or trimming away this. Alright, so I'm kind of like just doing it as we go along. So this is not a bad piece of work. Alright, so let's do some further cleaning up and fillet or trim what needs to be trimmed. Let's set our radius back to 0 for now. Alright, and then we can now fillet here to here and the other side as well. And with this as well, when you're dealing with symmetrical object, you can always just do one side and then trim away the rest of it. Alright, so for example, in the middle here of the circular portion, there is no such thing for the bottom one, so we can remove that. So between these two lines, the bottom circle, bottom or the outer one, is removed, and then we can either trim or fillet the corners of this here. I'm filleting this one, and I can always trim the other portion if I want. Alright, it's based on what you're most comfortable with or what you see to be most probably efficient for you. Alright, so as you can see, we have pretty much completed that portion there. We just need to add the hole that is going to be running across here, and all we can do is simply utilize the drawing that we have over here and simply project lines across, and this will give us our that little spot there. Now on the drawing here, it is going to be where is the XX? XX is right in the middle. Alright, now because this is going to be our section view, you see all the lines that you see that are in detail, in most cases, as long as they're in the center, those always end up turning into solid line, because remember the purpose of in detail lines. Alright, so if we do a section where those features are no longer going to be hidden, so they're going to become solid line because they're not hidden, you're seeing them. Alright, so for things like that, you don't need to stress too much about it, just draw it. Alright, so from that, as you can see, we're pretty much completed all of this here, all in one go. So the only part that is remaining for us to do is these portion here. Alright, now the instruction already tell you where these are going to go. Alright, so we're going to be looking at those now. Alright, what is this here? Oh, okay, we don't need to draw all of that. Alright, so let's go. We're going to start things off by drawing. We're going to draw, yeah, let's start off with this here. Alright, now where is this going to go? Now when we're looking at this object here, how is this going to look? Alright, so we know that the hole is running across here. Alright, so we're going to draw our shaft as well. So we're going to draw our shaft. The dimension for the shaft is that length is not important, as you can see from the broken ends. So in this case, I'm just going to draw a random line, horizontal line, and then I'll offset it by the diameter, which is 40. Offset 40. So this is our little end view, and then now we're going to do the edges. We're going to try to mimic this. I don't know if there's a way. There's probably a way in AutoCAD, but I don't know it, so I tend to utilize what do you call it, the spleen tool, and I kind of cook my little broken end thing there, something like that. Enter. And then I'll just make some small and fine adjustments, something like that. Alright, and then I'll clean up what needs to be cleaned. Yeah, so let me move this to here. Alright, cool. And then now I'll hatch inside of this space here. I'll hatch it using the hatch pattern that is called steel. That's the one that I use. So I scroll down until I see the one that is called steel. If I do pass it, oh yeah, I just saw it. Here it is. Then I'll hatch inside of here like that. and then I'll simply mirror all of this to the other side. I'll mirror it to the other side. Mirror. Yep. Turn on ortho for this. Yeah. Alright, so it will be something kind of like that. Now this one here is a bit upside down, so I'm going to flip it to the other side. I need a mirror line, so I'm going to put a little makeshift center here, and then I'll reselect this and then mirror. So I'll click in the center and then I'll select yes. That should sort things out, and I can remove all of that, and that there is pretty much done. Alright, so we have that in place. Alright, this is going to go across here. Alright, if you're wondering. Alright, and when it comes on to this section view here, when it goes inside of this hole here, we're just going to hatch the entire thing inside of this hole here. Hatch pattern using this hatch pattern here. Alright, so it's going to look like this on this. Okay. Alright, so let's do the rest. Alright, we have this bolt here, so we're going to draw that bolt. How is this bolt going to go? That's number 5. Let's see where number 5 goes, so we can ensure that we have everything sorted out. Number 5. So the M10 bolt number 5 is passed through the hole on the body. Number 1, and through the arm. That's the handle. Where does the handle go? Oh, I see. Okay, so from this end view, when we're looking at the object, what is it going to look like? It is going to look like this here. Alright, now the handle, this handle here, will pass through this vertically like this. Alright, but from this view here, it's going to look like this. Alright, so that is what we're going to be drawing. This is what type of knot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. Alright, so we're going to be doing that. Alright, so let's draw that. Alright, on this view here, it is going to look as it is right now. Alright, so let me just move these out of the way so I can draw it and we can see what is going on as we're moving along. Alright, we're at minute 33 now. We have 33 minutes to go. Well, about 28 minutes. So it's good time. We're on good time. Alright, so let's go. So let's draw this here. Alright, so it says that, and we're just going to draw a horizontal line right here. You could use rectangles and all that stuff. It's up to you, or you want to draw it, but yeah, let's go. So they say that the length of here from here to here is 52, from here to here is 67. So let's start with that. And this is a M10, so it means that the diameter is 10. Alright, so let me offset 5 on either side because we're still going to need that center line. I'm going to change it to the relevant layer. So let me just take on this and put it to the layer so we can differentiate. Alright, so hope you can see it clearly. Let me move it down a bit. Alright, cool. So let's start things off. So we're going to be working our way from the back to the front, or from this end here. So let's start by drawing a line across the end here, and from that we're going to be offsetting 52. So O, enter 52. Alright, so we have the 52. Now we need a 67. So O, enter 67. So that goes to 67. Alright, so that's where the bulk of it is going to start. That's this portion here. And then from there, we move over another 30. So let's offset 30. 30. As you can see from here, 30. From here to here, 30. Alright, so now anything beyond that point, we can remove it. Yeah, let's just remove everything, and this, we can probably stretch this out a bit, just a bit. Put it on the relevant layer, center line layer. Alright, cool. Now, this looks nothing like what it is in the image. Why? Because we have to sort out the width of this thing here. Alright, we have to sort out that. Alright, so let's go. Now, we do not see the width of the bolt head here, but there are, should I say, standard in relation to the width. So if this is an M10 bolt and we're using the formula, which is 1.5 multiplied by the diameter plus 2. If it's 10, 1 half of 10 is 5, that's 15 plus 2, that is 17. So it means that I'm going to be offsetting half of 17 is how much? I don't know. Oh, my brain is going lazy. 17, 8, 8.5. So I'm going to offset. Oh, that's right. 8.5, 8.5 on either side here. All right, and that will be the width. Is my math right? Let me get a calculator. Oh, we do have quick calculator on this here, but let me use the one on my phone. All right, so it's 1.5. So it's 1.5 multiplied by 10 plus 2. Yeah, it's right, equal, and then divided by 2, 8.5. I was right. All right, so we have those in place. Let's do some adjustments. So we're going to be extending these two lines to touch these here. So we're going EX, enter. Let's go EX, enter. All right, and let's trim. That goes, that goes, that, as well as that. All right, all of these are part of the object now. So object clear. All right, cool. Oh, inside here has to be removed as well, as you can see, but I do see a remnants of it, but I'm guessing that is these here, that is these line here, that's what you're actually seeing. So I'm going to leave those there. All right, now we're going to be adding the threading portion to this here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be doing I'm going to be offsetting one here and here. I'm also going to be offsetting the one here as well. All right, now I'm going to be trimming away everything that is here and here. All right, to show where the threading stops. I do see a little chamfer there, but that chamfer could be the same one. So let's just quickly join that little chamfer there. Then I can get rid of this. All right, in terms of like here now, it's just it's the same pretty much treatment. There and there, and then you can always fillet the corners, trim what needs to be trimmed. Let me just use the trim command. That goes, all right, that as well. I think that's how it looks. Yeah, let me keep those lines. All right, something like that. All right, when it's printed, you're not going to be able to see it. So what is missing on this is the little curved section here where the bolt is going to or the handle is going to pass through right here. This 8mm hole here. Alright, so we're going to be drawing that 8mm hole. Where is it located exactly? We do not know where exactly it goes, or the hole is. We don't know exactly where the hole is. Alright. What am I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to be judging it. Alright, so if between here and here is 30, here and here is 30, 30, so from here to here, alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it 10mm away from the end, offset 10 10mm from the 10 is a lot though. Yeah, I'll use 5. Offset 5, so I go 5 and then I go with the 8. Alright, just like this. And then now I can now add the little dugout section there. On this, these lines are going to become hidden detail. Alright, and let's add the circles or the curve there with diameter 8, radius 4. So these go here. Alright, so in terms of like placing these, what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be moving this first one here, grabbing it at this quadrant and placing it right here. Alright, let me just trim away what needs to be trimmed, like here and here. Let me double check to ensure that no, so this little dugout section here is not a complete thing, because if you look at what we have here, it doesn't really line up. So it's more like an arc section. Alright, so half of 4, and then I'll mirror it to the other side. Alright, so we're trimming. Alright, so that is that portion there out of the way. In terms of like, so this is what it will look like on the section view. Alright, section view. On this view, it's going to look like the nut here. Alright, this nut here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be just going ahead to draw the nut shape thing here. So this here, so I'm going to just add my little reference line to help me, and then I'm going to use my what do you call this, polygon tool. How many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides, and then I find the center. Oh, it will ask me center right here. Do I want inscribe, circumscribe? Inscribe. Alright, like this. And then I'll add the circular portions in the middle, such as the circle for the 10, circle for the 5. Alright, that's one there. The one that is going to be the thread, offsetting 1, and I believe that's it. Unless you want to add the hole that is going to be running across it, that is going to be running along this point here. So I snap, then yeah, let me just draw it past, and then I'll trim away the excess and then mirror to the other side. Alright, then I'll mirror to the other side. So let me grab onto this, grab onto that and mirror. Alright, like that. And then these are going to be hidden detail or hidden features. So, you know, we're going to put them on our hidden detail layer. Alright, these are object. No, the middle ones are going to be hidden, I believe. And the outer will be visible when it goes over this hole here, I believe. Alright, cool. So the next one that we're going to be drawing is almost the final one, which is the handle here. The handle is one of the easier things to draw. Now, the diameter for it, you know, it is 8 because it's going to go through here. So let's draw that. So we're going to just draw a rectangle. So REC, enter, base. The width of it is going to be 80, as you can see, 80. And press my tab key, and then the thickness 8. Alright, then the other two small rectangles are going to be 6 and 10. So let's go rectangle. Let's go 10 first because that's the width. Tab key, and then 6. Enter. Did I enter the right thing? 610. Let me do that again. Or let me just write. So it will go across 10 and then go up 6. Am I mixing up something here? Oh, because it should be 12. Should be 12. Because if the radius is 6, it means that the diameter has to be 12. 10. Back down 12. Alright, so those corners on it should need to be filleted. Remember, those radii are actually 3, so let's add those radii for 3. So we have here to here. Now there is a command to automatically do all of these. I don't remember it. Alright. And if there are other places that you can learn the fundamentals for things like this, channels like, I believe the channel is called Mastering Technical Drawing, something like that. You can search the name Fraser, and it should come up on YouTube. Place that there. So that's a good place to learn fundamentals, alright, as well as some tricks to be more efficient with your drawings. Alright, so this is it. When it's going to go on our drawing or going on this, it's going to be flipped 90 degree. Now from the other view, which will be this here, yeah, it's going to look the same way. Alright, so the only thing that's remaining for us to draw now is the nut. Alright, the M10 nut here, lock nut. So let's see where the M10 lock nut goes. The M10 lock nut, alright, so arm through the arm 2 and secured in place by the lock nut number 6. Because this here, where is it? This goes with this. Alright, so it will go at the end here. Alright, so let's see if we can put things together now. We're now in the 49 minutes. Shouldn't take more than say 10 minutes to sort out what needs to be hatched. When we cut through the object, things like that. We're also going to be adding the cutting plane along here as well. So let's do that now. As I said, I like to use the puzzle method, and this is special case, so let me get rid of this and let me move these apart a bit more. Alright, so here, this is what is going to happen. So let me just find the center of this. L, enter. I have a reference line there. Let me grab onto this. Let me just group this first. And then I can copy it. Or more. Yeah, let's copy it. CP, enter. I can't find the center. Let me copy it first and then I'll grab onto it there in the center and then place it right here. Alright, so now you see the portion that passes through the object, those has to be in hidden detail or hidden features. So let me ungroup this here because I jumped the gun there. Alright, so I'm going to remove this portion of the line and then redraw them so I can modify the line. Alright, and put it as hidden detail feature. So this and this become hidden detail feature. Alright, let me remove the center line for now. Alright, so that's what that is going to look like there. Alright, the other portion is this here. So I'm going to add that now. And then whatever needs to be changed, I'm going to change it afterwards to the relevant layer. So this will go here. But I need to get the sequence correct though, which side it said it's on, because that will make a difference whether it's in detail or whatever. So it says that part labeled assembler, the harm, yeah, the harm align with the body, number 1, the workpiece, number 4, yeah, that's this shafting that we drew, that's the workpiece. Alright, is workpiece where is placed within the space between the arm and the body, number 1. The M10 bolt, number 5, is passed through the hole on the body and through the arm. Alright, so it will pass through this bolt here, will pass through all of this here. When you're looking at it on this side here, that's what it's going to look like. On this from this standpoint, yeah, that's what it's going to look like. Then now, from there now, you're going to have pass through. Let me zoom in a bit more so you can read. It's passed through the hole on the body, number 1, through the arm, and is secured in place by the M10 lock nut. And the handle is situated through the M8. Alright, cool. So let's put things together. So we have that in place. So we now need to add the arm, this here. So let's put it on the relevant layer. And let's make a copy and take it over to where we need it. Alright, so somewhere along here. Now, you see for this here, well, based on how it is on this here, if we turn it like this, it means that we're going to see a circle on this end here. If we turn it up, then it means that, let me just show you. RO, enter. I should just put it across like this. What should I do? What should I do? Oh, and this line here is going to be in detail as well. Yeah, I'm just going to do it like this. Let me just group it. Let's group it. Group it, and now I'll be able to move it and place it there like that. So it means that there are some portion of our nut here that is going to become in detail. So let's go. Let's explore this. Sorry, run command X, enter. Now it's separate. Now we place it on hidden detail. Alright. Now once that is done, what is remaining? Nothing is left on this end. Alright, let's ensure that we have everything here. Alright, cool. So let's work on the section now. Now as I said before, this, let me grab it, and I'm going to be here. Let me just remove everything, and this is going to be, let me place this on the object layer. This is going to be placed right in the where the hole is supposed to be. Then there are some portion of it that is going to become hidden. Alright, so let me catch that hole there. Let me turn this on. Alright, cool. So we have part there. I can use that as my reference. Let me just draw the other line as well, just for surety. Alright, go across. And let's place this. We're going to move it so that here is snug up against this point here. Alright, just like that. And then now all of this here that is inside of this object is going to become hidden detail or hidden feature. The safest bet to do this is I'm going to remove and redraw this line here so I can change the line type. Oh, everything worked out. So these are hidden features now. Likewise, this and all of this are hidden features now. Alright. Here as well, I am going to decide what am I going to do. Let me trim away the outside and then redraw that. Let's add these to the relevant layer. So these are hidden features now. Alright. Let me redraw those now. I'm going to have to redraw it again because the nut has not been placed as yet. For the side view of the nut, we have not drawn the nut. Alright, but in the meantime I can draw the tummy, this bar here. Now because of how I did it here, it means that if I turn it up like this, it's not a true reflection of what is over here. So it means that I need to did I do circle? Let me find the center of this here. It means that I need to grab onto this and place it. Smack in the middle. Smack in the middle. Is it tracking? No. Oh, I have this on. So I go here. Alright, somewhere along there. Alright. So it means that that is what the handle is going to look like from this view. Now I'm here putting things in hidden detail line, and I totally forgot that this is actually my section drawing. Totally forgot. Alright, so we're also going to need another circle that represents the small hole or the small portion in the handle. So I'm going to draw that there. So find the center. Alright, and let's move this. So I'm going to go through now and make the adjustment and then hatch what needs to be hatched. Alright, so let me remove my center line on this and on this here. Now, how am I going to do this? You see this that we have cut through here? Remember what I said about hidden detail line always end up becoming solid lines? So we're going to start that out. So let's grab onto these and make these all object line. portions that are going to be hatched. Do I have a hatch layer? I'll just go there. Hatch layer. Alright. So we're going to be hatching using the steel pattern. So we're going to hatch here, and here, and here. Alright, let's enter and let's continue. This portion that you're seeing here will leave blank because this is a hollow section. This line is just representing what is in the background, this bottom line here. Alright, moving up to this portion here. Let's divide this thing in half. Remember, it joined at a specific point right down the middle. So we're going to be drawing that part there. Alright, so we're going to draw that part. So it comes down right along the center here. And along here. I don't remember how far down it comes, but we're going to use this as a reference over here to find out exactly where. Alright, that's amazing. So let's clean up. That's that there and that there. Alright, so this is one half and that's the other half. Alright, so looks like that. Alright, cool. So we have this half here that we would have drawn here that has the hole in it and everything. So remember, we're hatching some stuff. So we're going to hatch this side here and we're going to hatch this side here. We're going to have to this portion here is not going to be hatched. It's going to all be solid line as well, because we're now looking at the object. And remember, we do not hatch bolts, nut, and all that stuff. If you, the rules will also be listed in the description as well, so you can see that as well. Items that are hatched and should not be hatched. Alright, let me just go through here. Alright, cool. Let's go. So we're hatching. Oh, see this here, because we cut through everything, all of this here should be 1. So you see, we're fixing things as we're going along. Alright, so all of this is one solid object coming all the way around. So let's start that one out. So we go here, clicking here, and let's start out these two ends. Alright, yeah, that is it. And then now we have this side here. Or are we going to hatch this? We're going to hatch it, but we're going to change the direction of the hatch pattern, and we're going to have to rotate it 90 degrees. So we're entering 90. Alright, now the direction has changed. You can differentiate between the two now a bit easier. Let us switch it a bit more. Alright, better? Alright, cool. Now it will be the same treatment here. I've seen an example where they have hatched the workpiece shaft thing here in the middle. I don't know if I should. If there's any teacher out there, you can leave a comment so the students can know if they should or should not. This line here that is in the middle should be removed. That's this one here. Alright, leaving the nut by itself. For this part here, you know, it's on the outside. Let's make it solid. This here, let's just if it's cut where it's supposed to be cut, it means that this would be out, because it cut right down, but we leave it alone. Alright, let's keep that there. Alright, let's keep that there, and I'm just going to hatch it here, but if I shouldn't, my apologies. Just check with your teacher and consult, because things are going to get crowded once I hatch inside of here. Alright, if you get what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do now is to simply change the scale of this to 6 or 5. Let me change it to probably 3. Alright, and then that should be able to, or that should make you be able to differentiate between the two a bit easier. All right. Now, when it comes on to these now, further differentiation, you need to add the center lines and all that stuff. So those are the things that we're going to be adding, and we're going to be adding the labels and the dimensions now. So let's add those within the next 6 minutes or so. As you can see, we're on good timing, excellent timing. Remember, they said 2 hours, you know. So there's so much time for you to perfect this drawing, all right? So much time for you to perfect this drawing. So if I can do it, you most certainly can do it as well. So let's zoom in on this thing here and start adding some more stuff, such as the dimension, basically the stuff that they had asked for, all right? So yeah, let me put in my center lines on this here. All right, turn this on. All right, let's grab onto these and place them on our center layer. All right, likewise the shaft here. Am I going to find the center? All right, center layer. All right, and where else? This is also circular in some sense. Do we see a center line on it on the drawing? Yes, well, it's a cutting plane line. So let's add that to it, all right, just to make sure. So this here, and you can do your arrow thing. I'm going to be using a triangle, 3-sided triangle that is. All right, like that. Let me see the ones that they have here. Okay, and it's X. So let me just scale this down a bit by probably 0.5, and let me just add a little tick to it like that, and then let's add my text for the X, capital X. All right, let me turn this off for now, like this. Zoom in. All right, yeah, let's increase the size here by 1.5, and let's copy this down to the other end. Turn on ortho so it falls where it should. All right, so we have that there. Let's do some dimensioning and all that fancy stuff. Oh, we still have not drawn the bolt, or the nut rather. The nut. Oh, here is the nut. So I'm drawing the nut. I'm just drawing a random line down, and then I'm going to offset it 8 and then 6. So O, enter 8, enter, click, click, and then the other offset, which is 6. And we know that center of it somewhere. All right, we know that it is a M10, so offset 5 on either side. 5, 5. So let's offset that 5 and the 5. That's the O. Let's offset the 1 on the inside as well. Oh, would we have seen it? Yeah, let's go. 1. Oh, it's on the outside because this is the nut. Alright, so we offset it outwards. Now once that is in place, the width of the nut. Now width of the nut is generally, as I said before, 1.5 times D plus 2. I think we calculated at 17, so let me offset the lines by 8.5 on either side. 8.5. So that's this line here, up and down. Alright, let's clean up our drawing a bit by trimming what needs to be trimmed. and such. All right, so we're going to go fillet, adding our labels now. So we're adding the labels according to what we should have here. It says that we should have a title called table clamp assembly, so we're going to add that with the scale. So we're going table clamp assembly. All right, and the scale is going to be 1. All right, so that's the 1-to-1 scale. All right, now that's a way too small, so I'm going to increase the size, or the font size, to 10. And let's make things a bit larger. Let's put things on my right. On my right, I like when my scale text is half the size of the title. All right, something like that. Let's add our dimensions. I'm just going to be copying some of the dimensions that is on the what do you call this? The part sheet. So for example, you have that 15 there, you have that 10 curve radius there. So those are the dimensions that I'm going to be capturing. So for example, from here to here, that's the 15. Let me just switch over to my dimension layer. So I'm there, and we're also adding dimensions. Yeah, let me just add some dimensions. So we have here. All right, we're also going to be adding some other dimensions, such as, for example, this here, which is an M10, I believe. So we're going M10. So that's an M10 bolt. We can also pick up some radiuses like these, which is 10. All right, we can also pick up diameter as well. Can't really put any dimensions on that, so just going to use linear, and let me just double check to ensure that we have them. So 6 main dimensions to include length, diameter, radius, metric screw thread, and yeah, metric screw thread specification. All right, cool. So we need diameter. What are we going to use diameter for? All right, so we're going to be using here. Oh yeah, I know what I'm going to do. Just like what they did, where they have here and here. Alright, I'm just going to add a symbol for the diameter. Alright, I believe that's how we're going to be doing it. Alright, so we have that there. We can have radius as well. So radius for, well, we do have radius. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can add some others, such as probably a width of this here. That's 60 there. We can have across here, maybe. All right, we can also add some here, basically repeating those that we saw on the part sheet. Let's move things a bit closer. Also, we're going to draw the orthographic symbol. So let's draw the orthographic symbol, which is this exact one that we have here. That's the one that we're drawing. So it says fillet radius unless otherwise specified. Okay, so let's go 0, circle. Let's draw that one there, and then another one. All right, let's add those. Here we go. So we have that there, we have that there. Alright, so let's draw our symbol from here down to here. Let's grab here. Oh, let me turn off ortho. Down to there. And then now we can clean up and add what needs to be added, such as center line and all that stuff. Center line, and these are objects. These are going to be moved to a suitable location, like here. I'm wondering if I accidentally left off something, because I'm sure everything should be there. Let's copy it and see what happens. Alright, this goes here. So this is the symbol, orthographic symbol. If we're going to lay out our drawing, it's going to be here. Let me double tap and zoom in. Let me try the 1:1 scale. Let me shift my little timer here. See what that looks like. Okay. Alright, so in order for this to hold properly, I need to move things around, and my title block is way too large. Alright, but just for the purpose of this, let me just zoom in around my drawing. Alright, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to adjust my title as well so that it's visible. So this goes further up, closer, like this. And you can also have the name here, section through, XX, and then you write end elevation over here. So as you can see, this is our drawing. Alright, let me adjust something here. PLTS 1. Alright, and if I were to show you what's going on here, continue, and let me preview to see what's going on. Alright, so something like this, as you can see. Alright, so I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, where we'll be tackling another exam past paper question. Again, this will be linked in the description down below. That's the file that is, where you'll have it for your viewing. Drawing template will also be down there. Again, please like, share, and subscribe for more.